In Singapore, to chope a seat is to claim your space with a pack of tissues. This is Chope, a series where Singaporeans gather over a meal to talk about survival, identity, and what it really means to belong in New Zealand. She's half Kenyan, half Kiwi. Her closest friends call her an honorary Singaporean. In this episode of Chope, Adlena Wong sits down with host Adlena over chili crab and black pepper crab, the same dishes that first brought them together, to talk about belonging without having to answer where home really is. So today I have my friend Adlena Wong, correct?
Perfect.
I think I've met like quite a few African diaspora here who have tricky names, and every time when they tell me their names and I reflect it back to them, they're always like, "Oh wow, you pronounce it really well."
Yeah.
Out of respect, right?
Yeah.
You have to try.
Yeah.
Correct?
Totally agree.
Yeah. I mean, if the world can pronounce Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can pronounce Adlena Wong.
Well done.
So, for the interest of the audience, Gath would be someone you wouldn't think, like she'd be like, huh? She's Singaporean, man? Just from the way she looks, right? But in my interactions with her for the past 6 years?
Yeah, I think
here
it's about 6 years.
in New Zealand,
Yeah.
like I can tell you, in my opinion and experience, like she is at the least an honorary Singaporean.
No.
Yeah, just from her mindset, her experience, her taste in food. As I'm about to go to now, why chili crab at 2 p.m. on a Sunday?
Wow.
Like typically in New Zealand, when people at this time, they will have what they call afternoon tea.
Yeah.
And usually it's like cakes, coffee, like literally afternoon tea, right? This is definitely not afternoon tea food.
Definitely not. And it looks amazing. And I've been waiting the whole morning. I have not eaten a
Oh, really?
thing.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I am coming in between Gath and the crabs.
You are.
So
Dangerous territory.
yeah, so the reason why I'm preparing crabs for Gath is because the first time I kind of met her here in New Zealand, it was because she came to my place to pick up her order of chili crabs, which was part of like a Lunar New Year set that I did for Super Shock. And then, she took the set back to her Kiwi mates, cousins, relatives, and basically, if you ask me, she was the ambassador for the food. Like, she told them how to eat it. There was lo hei, right?
Yeah, there was lo hei.
She led the lo hei. She showed me the video.
Yeah.
She taught people how to eat the crab, what it is.
It was the year of the ox.
It was 2022.
22?
Yeah.
2022?
In honor of her agreeing to come on this, I thought to prepare this to kind of remind us of how we started here in New Zealand. Yeah. Because I think she disagreed, because we talked about this earlier. I really don't recall meeting Gath. We have mutual friends in Singapore. Gath worked in Singapore for 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had mutual friends, and apparently, according to them, we met, but I can't for the life of me remember when I met Gath. But funny how life is.
It is.
That's
Funny how life brings us together.
I'm very excited about what we're gonna chat with Gath. But first and foremost, again, as I tell my guests, this is a talk and eat show. Oof. I have prepared, being the Singaporean. Yes. I don't want my guests like to be like messy, especially when they bothered to dress up for me.
Adlena, thank you.
So we shall,
Indulge.
maybe Super Shock should make.
I think you should definitely
merch.
make a big.
So black pepper crab and chili crab. The only reason I eat chili crab, right, is so that I can eat the mantou and dip the sauce.
Yeah. That's the only. In fact, where is the sauce? It's fine.
Here, on this side. So my friend here, originally from Kenya, which is a place in the African continent.
East Africa.
East Africa, yes. She actually like studied in the UK, worked there, and worked also in South Africa before somehow making her way to a tiny sunny island on the other side of the world. So can you like share with us like how that came about? What were you expecting? Or were you even expecting anything when you arrived in Singapore?
So, when I came to Singapore to start working, it was not my first time to come to Singapore.
Okay.
I had actually visited Singapore on a package deal.
Tour.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you know how you've got the package deals where you have Malaysia, Singapore, Penang, Langkawi, deals, and then you've got Singapore for 3 days and all of that.
Yeah.
When I was working in South Africa, I had done a package tour like that and had arrived in Singapore. And the first time I saw Singapore, I fell in love.
This was in 2000.
Oh, I can't remember because I started in 2000. I came to Singapore to work in 2007. But I had actually visited maybe a couple of years before 2007. So it would have been
mid-2000s.
Maybe 2005 or 2006 or something like that.
Okay.
And when I arrived, a few things struck me. One was, because you arrive at the airport and then you get in a bus and then you're driven straight to Riverwalk or Riverside Hotel. I can't remember. One of those hotels and along Boat Quay area, Clark Quay area. And I arrived and all I could think of was the bougainvilleas along the ECP and how clean and how hot it was, right? But I fell in love with something and I don't know what it was at the time. And I remember saying to my friend, I would love to get a job in Singapore. I spoke this. You know how they say you speak something and then later it comes true? So, and my life has been a lot around, wow, I have desired something and then it's come to pass. So how did I get to Singapore? I was working with Unilever. Unilever had head offices all around the world, but their Asia, Africa, regional head office had been moved from South Africa to Singapore.
Okay.
During that period of time.
Okay.
And I'd gone back to Kenya after spending a number of years in South Africa. Company had gone through a restructuring.
Okay.
When I was in Kenya. And so I actually was looking for another job posting from Kenya and one came up in Singapore. So I applied for the role and and then I got into the role and it was, I started on a 3-year contract in Singapore because I had visited already. It wasn't like I didn't know what to expect from a country, although to be honest I'd only seen it as a visitor, as a tourist, which is a very different experience from when you actually live in a country, as you know. So then I arrived in Singapore and your question was, what were my expectations? So coming as a tourist and then coming as somebody who's going to live and work there, I had most excellent treatment, going round and being shown what are all the different places I could live in, what I could do, blah, blah, blah. So that was my initial sort of experience of where am I going to live and how am I going to live and what am I going to do. So that's how I actually came to Singapore.
Okay. So as my children will always ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your first experience as a tourist and then after 13 years?
On a scale of 1 to 10. So I would say as a tourist, you only see the good. You get to eat amazing food, of course, expensive because you only go to touristy places. You don't really get
Don't go hawker
you don't
centre.
go hawker center. Actually, you don't go hawker center. I don't know why they don't take
Maybe
you
not
as a
then,
tourist
but I
center.
think now. It's
Now I
more-
think they explore it more.
Yeah.
But you do all the in Singapore, you know how it is. You do all the very like you go to Chinatown, and then there's a particular place in Chinatown where you're going to go.
Okay, maybe.
You will have chili crab and a beer. Then you'll go to Arab streets,
Little
and then you'll go
India.
to Little India. You know, there's the rounds, right? And I would have scored it probably as a country to visit 8 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah, like it was up there with.
Well done, Singapore Tourism
Well done,
Board.
yeah. No, Singapore tourism. You know, we did bird parks and the
Yeah.
zoo.
Yeah.
You know, coming from Africa, the zoo was not so impressive, but. But hey, there was a zoo. And I'd never seen a tiger, so that was good. And anyway.
Wait, you never see a tiger in Kenya?
There are no tigers in Africa, right? There are no tigers in Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my. Only lions.
The only lions, yeah.
Oh, I see.
You don't get tigers in Africa. So
I mean, I was like reflecting, like in my entire life, like how many touch points in Singapore is like with an African person, and I actually suddenly remember that my primary 5 or primary 6 teacher, she was from South Africa.
oh yeah.
And she was like a dark South African. And I remember her name is Juanita. Can't remember her
Juanita.
last name. Miss Juanita.
Okay.
And I think she was,
Was she
a
the-
trainee teacher. So she shadowed my
Oh,
like,
right.
like my main teacher.
Yeah.
Which is Miss Rose. So that was like, I guess, my first
African.
like actual interaction every day.
Yeah.
And she had that like hair like yours.
Yeah.
Like with the curl,
Afro.
black afro.
Yeah. Mine is straight in that moment though. I really struggled in Singapore with having it straight because of the humidity.
Oh.
Every time I went out,
It
it
would
was
just
just really like,
freeze.
yeah,
Oh.
be very,
Okay.
woo.
Okay. I think that would be my first touch point ever with like a black African woman. In terms of our classmates, even at uni, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then the next one would be, yeah, I guess for work every now and then, you know, because I also work for MNCs and all that, like every now and then. But it's not, no one like translate into a friendship or made a big impression
Yeah.
until you, I guess.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh.
I would say, like, you are like African woman, like connection and friendship that kind of endured, I guess.
Endured. Yeah, that's a good word.
So what was your
My
first
experience.
or impression as a black African woman in Singapore?
First of all, you notice when you arrive in Singapore, as you walk on the streets, in buses, MRT, etc., how few Africans there are. Like you literally can count on your fingers, right?
Yep.
So it's a very weird experience if you like. Now that I've been around, been in different countries, I've worked in the UK and then of course in South Africa, but even in the UK, in London, it's a very diverse city, right? So in the UK, you'd see lots of Africans from different parts of Africa, but just generally, you also have, of course, you have your Caribbeans and your British from Grenada, etc. So there are dark-skinned people, yeah?
Yep.
In Singapore, they're dark-skinned, if you've got dark-skinned Indians, because you've got dark-skinned Indians, but
Yep.
African
Not
people,
Africans.
you don't see a lot. So your first experience is if you see an African sister, African brother on the street, you automatically will make eye contact and say hello and nod, and they look at you, you look at them, and it's as if you've been best friends forever, right? Even though you don't know each other at all, just because it's so rare. So that's kind of the first experience, and all my friends and family who visited would comment on this, and they'd be like, "Oh man, there are no Africans in Singapore." I was like, "No, they're there.
Yeah.
It's just that they're very few. They're really few." The second thing, so in a strange way, you're visible but not visible. Let me explain that. You're obvious because you're different, but in another way, you're not seen.
Yeah.
So this is like you are really not scene. Maybe you stand out. Maybe you stand out because you're different. But there's almost like there aren't that many people who will be super curious. Especially now, I understand the culture more. That there needs to be a right setting for people to ask questions about you, where you're from. There's also a perception about Africans, right? Whether we like it or not, there is a very clear perception of what Africans are like, and that's driven a lot by media. I had a fascinating conversation with someone once where they, actually not once, multiple times, the people who had the best conversations, most honest conversations with me about being African were taxi drivers. Always. So they'd ask me questions where I'm from, and they would amaze me. Sometimes there'd be like really good understanding around where Kenya is at. And I had taxi drivers, especially the old uncles who had traveled. There's some people who had traveled the world on ship before they became taxi drivers, had been to Mombasa, the ports, so they knew it. And then there were others who didn't know anything about it, associate me with, at that time, it would be like the pirates of Somalia. And, do I do this or do I do that? And then I'd get a little bit offended, but then I would decide it's okay, let me just ride that, right? So, yeah, that was my experience. I never, ever, though, had any direct racist experience in Singapore. Like, this surprised me for 13 years. Maybe once or twice I had one experience in a bank, but it could have been there, but I never really felt it. I just felt people didn't know what to ask or how to approach me or what to say. It was like that was how I felt. I didn't feel the strong biases and prejudices that I felt that I feel in other countries. I can tell you, I'm living in New Zealand. I've experienced it more in New Zealand than I ever experienced in Singapore, which is amazing. It's fascinating, given the different the exposures. Or maybe it's now you ask the question, maybe it's because Singapore is a hub of people coming in and out. You know, so
I don't know. It's quite a good thing.
Yeah,
because you don't.
It's a very good thing.
You don't see that as like a threat.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of, especially now these days, there's a lot of very anti-immigrant sentiment. Not to say Singapore doesn't have, but I think Singapore's anti-immigrant sentiment is more about the whole job thing. Thinking that, not thinking, but I guess to a certain extent there is some truth to it, in a sense, like we are surrounded by our Southeast Asian counterparts who are not as wealthy as us as a hub, right?
Totally.
So we are actually the opportunity epicenter for them. They come, they work, whatever they earn is like multiple times that they can bring back to Vietnam or Malaysia. Just going by the exchange rate, for example, Malaysia and Singapore, $1 Singapore is $3 Malaysia. So you can imagine, like, even if you take on like a $3,000 job, you get almost 10,000 ringgit a month. Like there's no way a Malaysian can earn 10,000 like a regular job. There's just no way. Right. So I think I feel like that is the prickly thing with Singaporeans. And I suppose and also because, well, the reason why we are also successful is off the backs of migrant workers. Right? Our construction workers, our domestic help. Without them, like, I don't think there is us.
Totally.
But I guess, then people will say, oh, they take their jobs. But seriously, do you want to do those jobs? And also, our system has geared us to a certain extent that our workforce is educated and intellectual. So if you are up there, would you want to come down and do this job? No. So I think that tension and whatever else that's going on is would fuel the anti-migrant mindset. But otherwise, I think from a day to day, we are very used to people coming and going.
Very used to it.
So maybe that's why.
Very, very used to it. In fact, so used to it in the first 5 or 6 years in Singapore, because there was a shift, I have to tell you, there was a shift in my experience in Singapore. My first 5 or 6 years was incredibly welcoming to me, as the taxi drivers would say, "Hey, are you PR?" And then I'd be like, "No." Then they'd be like, "Why don't you apply to become PR? You must stay." I had never felt so welcomed in a country that I didn't think that I had enough understanding to know that you are given it's called employment. People know employment pass, right? Yeah. Based on your skill based and your skill and experience and being a professional and your salary. So I know that I'm not naive to imagine that the money was not important. Yeah. But from an uncle in a taxi to say, why don't you become PR and be so welcoming and warm and friendly like that? It always struck me as something that was so different, because even in Kenya, I worked in a multinational in Unilever. I remember we would sit and we would talk about, why do we need expatriates? Why do you need expatriates in Kenya? Like there was a whole thing like that. Yeah. But Singapore had a very clear strategic reason why their workforce was made up of the way that it was made. So there was an understanding across the whole country that I found incredibly encouraging, and it was like, oh, this is great. And many people I knew they were dishing out PRs and citizenships in the first 2007, 2008, during that period of time. Yeah, so good. Yeah. That's changed though.
It's harder now.
Yeah, it's harder, much harder now.
The other part, right? Like you mentioned about visible but not visible. Right?
Yes.
You go around Singapore. Typically, the road signs or whatever instructions at the train station, it's in English. Yep. It's in Mandarin. It's in Malay. Tamil. It's in Tamil. Yep. Right. So that would give you an indication like how the country categorizes the races and ethnicity. So these are the 4 main ones. So we call it the CMIO framework, which is Chinese, Malay, Indian, others. So others will include our Eurasian counterparts as well. But I mean, I guess everyone is others.
Everyone who doesn't fit into
who just Chinese, doesn't fit into this
Malaysian, and
main
Indian
races would be others. So did you feel like, because the language used is that you are other, so as an other, did you fit in?
Did I fit into the other category, or did I fit in?
However you want to interpret my question. Yeah, because you are an other. Do you feel like you
fitted into the other?
Yeah. Or however you want to interpret that question.
I did fit into other because I was obviously a different race group. Yeah. In fact, a more different race group in that I mixed African European. So not even Eurasian. So this would be quite obvious if the other dropped down. So if you know in Singapore how when you're filling out forms, it's exactly in that framework. But then you also have other. But there are sometimes if you just look at the bullet, you unpack the other. Yeah. So you actually have Eurasian as a category and as a group. Yeah. But it never had an African European other category.
So what are the rest after Eurasian? Do you remember?
European, there's European only. So you could either be European only, or you could be Eurasian, which is European and Asian, or other, which is what so are you? I was the other, right? So I was like, even other. I know, right? So when you get to the other, which is the mixed European and African grouping, that's unique. Oh yeah, in the other, you also have African alone. Yeah. So you'll have African alone, European alone, Eurasian. So you'll have that, but my mix was not there.
Okay.
This came up when
What is your mix?
European African. Yeah, it's
so that's what I like
identify with.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because my mother is European, Angmo,
Yes.
and my father is African.
Yes.
So that's why I have this one.
Oh yes. I
So
forgot about that.
yeah. So did I fit into that category? I associated a lot in Singapore with my fellow African brothers and sisters. So I made it a point to really make friends with other Kenyans, or so I would look out for where there are other Kenyans, or if they're Ugandan, or
Was there
if
a
they were.
community or association of Africans?
So Kenyan community, definitely.
Okay.
And then when you would attend like a function, or a like if somebody had a party or a dinner at their house, then you would get to meet other people from Zimbabwe or from somewhere else. Yeah. So there is an African community.
Okay. Was it? Do you know how big it was?
I tended to only be kind of with more of my Kenyan friends, but I wouldn't say how big it was. It was probably about, Kenyans themselves were not that many in Singapore.
Yeah.
And then as a bigger African community, I don't know the numbers. It was then that I kind of was like, okay, if I want to do that African thing, then I would find those friends, that community, and do it with them. But this was difficult because people change in Singapore so often. You know, it's a transient place. So people come and go, constantly come and go.
Yeah.
So as soon as you think you've made a friend, then the person is leaving in 6 months, or they're leaving in. So this is hard, right?
Yeah.
So you become aware about that and learn to try and navigate, where am I good? How do I sustain friendships and relationships? And also, I didn't want to not have Singaporean friends. I really wanted to have Singaporean friends. So I found that that's something that I worked hard at. Like I had to be very intentional and really make an effort around that. My friends could easily have been lots of expatriates, but I consciously chose to live in a more local area. So I lived in Budok, which is like not typical
it's not
in
your
the CBD.
It's not your it's not your Sigla.
It's not your Siglam.
It's not your
It's not your Santosa.
Yes,
Bliss.
it's not your
It's not
Bukit
your
Timah, it's not your
Bukit Timah.
Dempsey.
Yeah, it's not your Dempsey, it's Budok.
It's
And
not
I was like,
Tanglin, it's Bador.
it's Budok. And I was like, I'm gonna live here because I want to live in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, this is where I want to live, and I want to find a community here, and I want to find friends in this area. I want to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
That's because in the past I had been an expat in the UK and in South Africa, and I had chosen expat areas, and so I made only expat friends.
Right.
Well, not only South Africa, I made lots of South African friends, but the reason why when I came to Singapore, I was very intentional. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that thing. I could be in a condo.
Exactly.
I could just be in a condo only and only see the condo people only. And I'm not saying this is bad for anybody else, but for me, I was like, no, I've got to get out there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So I mean, okay. So I know as a profession, you are in the HR space, which HR, people and culture, right? But basically your job is to like bring people together, build like inclusive environments at the workplace. So I think this question is actually a segue to what you just said, right? Like you bring in, which you probably have just answered before. Like, so in your personal life, give us an example of like how you were intentional. Okay, first of all, you were intentional by choosing the neighborhood, like heartland. But after that, beyond that, what do? Do you like always go to Bedok Market and have breakfast and talk to the uncle, auntie? Did you join like a local, like very Singaporean activity? Like, what did you do?
Right? Yeah.
How did you do it? Yeah.
My biggest entry point on the how and what I did was my church. So because I lived in the area, there were a number of churches that I could go to. Yeah. And I consciously chose Budok Methodist Church, which is like one
very
of the
local.
bigger, very local. Very local. In fact,
all the uncle aunties.
And also all the uncles and aunties, but also professional Singaporean women and men like me.
Yeah.
But they were not expats. They were all just local.
locally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of my biggest kind of intentional, deliberate things that I did. And then by joining that church, I also joined a small home group where it's your 8 to 10 people who meet every second week.
Okay.
And to do a Bible study or to whatever. And by doing that,
Yeah.
I also got to know people's homes and just what their struggles were and challenges, and they became my really good friends.
Yeah.
It's not easy still.
Yeah.
But they became my very, very close friends around around that area, because it's in the neighborhood, right?
Correct.
So everybody just lives around.
Yeah.
And so I didn't need to go outside. So that was very intentional.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I, to date, I'm still very good friends. When I go back to Singapore, we all get together, and I've attended a few people's weddings now because they're married and their kids are so big now. Oh my gosh, because 13 years, right?
Yes,
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
So that was very intentional. That was one way, and I was thankful for that one way. And the other intentional way was I had one Singaporean friend who then introduced me to other Singaporean friends, and then their family, like friends and family, and so ended up getting to know the friends and the families.
Yeah.
Other than those were kind of the two things that I did that were. Did I shop in Budok area? Yeah, for sure, because it was convenient and local
all the
and
markets.
not. All the markets that were there,
Yeah.
and I did that, and I think there's some things that were not conscious or intentional, like getting to know my neighbors. But my neighbor was my landlord.
Oh, really?
So my neighbor was my landlord, so I lived next to my landlord, and so his family, for some reason, I got to know them well. Really, mainly because I had 2 dogs. And they really liked dogs but didn't want to have dogs.
Yeah.
But they didn't mind looking after my dogs. So I was like, this is a win-win.
Yeah. It's like the auntie who can return the children back to their siblings.
Anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah. So I had like some, but it was really mainly my church, and then from a Singaporean friend I would get to know others.
Okay. So, I mean, I picked up on like, when you say you were, I guess, welcomed into those circles, and then you said that, you listen to their stories of like their struggles and whatever. So, what are some of the key themes you picked up from them?
Okay, so all of my group, that group was all female, all women. Maybe mid-career, I would say. Yeah, mid-career. Some married, some single. Some of the challenges in Singapore: work, balancing work and life, stress of work, given it's a very high achieving society, the demands of that, being married and being single, and how that feels and looks, and what can come with that, the loneliness that can come with some of that that's there, identity being, and I think that's very much linked to the workplace identity almost. I want to say you look surprised about that. So the identity is more about where I'm at in society, especially if you're a single person.
Yes.
Not necessarily if you're married, but a single is like, where do I fit, and what's going to happen to me. Chinese people are very private. I say that because my group was all Chinese. And so you have to get to know people for a long time before they open up and speak about some of the challenges that are there. And for me, I found that very different, being an African who we are not. Africans are not that private about their no, totally not. If you sit I can give you a completely different experience of South Africa with Singapore. So in South Africa, in my first year or so, if I met a group of women like that, I would know all their stories, everything within the first 6 months. There's no holding back, nothing. They would tell you everything.
Yeah.
In Singapore, and especially
Chinese.
Chinese, it takes a long time before people will open up, and even just amongst themselves, I think I found that people will hold back, and I think that's because of a sense of being judged, or or trust. It takes some time to build trust, and it takes so that's what I found. That one for me was very different. I only knew about some of the stories until maybe 2, 3, 4 years later.
So
It took that long.
So would you say then, like comparing your experience in Singapore, working, and here, is that true in your experience about the trust thing?
I would agree. Yeah. I definitely think, working in Singapore, so because I need to differentiate between working in Singapore and this personal experience, my personal life and working. My work life was not exactly the same as my personal life. Why? Because my work life was very mixed. My work life was very multinational, international mix, expats, and the culture reflected a culture of a corporate international culture. So it's difficult to say it was like compare a local, let's say, New Zealand or Kiwi culture and a local Singapore culture. If I worked in a local Singapore company, I think I would have experienced that, what you're speaking about. But because I worked in a multinational, international company, it reflected the culture of the company. The culture of the company reflected whatever that company was driven by. So it would have an overarching culture of, if it's an American organization like Kellogg's was, then it was pretty much an American culture that permeated with some nuances of the country that you're in, right? If it was a British Dutch culture like Unilever was, then it would be very much like a British Dutch culture, and then the nuances of that. So that I didn't really, the trusting would be driven by whatever we were driving, and being an HR person, I can tell you we would put into place like, this is what we're going to do from a culture. These are the values that we have. And then we would drive those values. And you would deal with the resistance of the different countries as much as they could, right? So that this trusting, I felt it much more from my personal interactions and not so much from my work interactions in Singapore.
So then, from the personal side, that's
your
experience?
From my personal side, on my experience in New Zealand versus Singapore, it's mixed. On the personal side, it's mixed, right? I found that in groups there are people who will tell you everything quickly. In New Zealand, everything quickly, and it's out there and you know it. And in the same circle of people, there will be people who will hold back, right? Here it's mixed. It's trust. I don't know, you've heard that's what people say. I think I the jury is still out there for me here. It's like, is there trust, isn't there trust? I have a little bit mixed sense of where New Zealand is at on the personal side. I can kind of give a really good sense in Singapore because of the length of time, but in New Zealand it's still early days. I'm still trying to figure out what is the culture. So that could be another whole discussion, Adlena?
Yes.
Let's stick to Singapore.
Yes. So at what point did you start in that 13 years? At what point did you start feeling, if it did Singapore feel like home?
Let me take a step back, because what does home mean? What does feeling like home mean, right? So my test for what does home feel like is when when you visit home, your birth home, and then you're in your birth home, and then you start missing that
the other home,
the other home, right? So my first year, I would go back to Kenya, and then I wouldn't miss Singapore at all, or that much. And then the second year, I would go back to Kenya and I wouldn't miss it. But then I think it was probably in the fourth year after I had made a decision to stay longer in Singapore that I started feeling that when I leave Singapore and go back to Kenya, I really missed Singapore. But what did I miss? I missed the friends. I've established friendship. I started having more friends in Singapore than I had in Kenya. See, this is a big thing when that switch happens. It's like when you start having more people in one country than not in another. So then I would feel that this is home. I would be super comfortable. When I land in Changi, I'm just like, yes, here I am, and it's like a really strange thing.
And to all Singaporeans, a warm welcome home. Okay, that's
to all Singapore. I know, it's so nice. And then you just enjoy the efficiency. As I told you, where I lived was like literally I had timed from the point I touched down to the point that I'm in my home was something like, it was like something ridiculous. Like it would be like 12 and a half minutes. It would be out of the airplane, my bags would be off in 5 minutes, the taxi in 2 minutes, and then 5 minutes home. I could time it like that, right? It was amazing.
Changi to Bedok is like
nothing.
5 minutes.
Exactly, nothing. So it was like the best experience. So I started feeling at home. That's when those are some of the signs that would make me feel like, this is just home, And what are the other things that you think about when you think about home is when people, when people miss you as well. You miss them, but they also miss you. Or they'll say, hey, when are you coming back? And, stuff like that. So,
And you went back every year?
I actually had a good rhythm going with my family and friends, right? So I had every other year I would go, and then every other year my family would come to Singapore. So if you speak to my sisters and my niece and my nephews, they absolutely love Singapore. They were gutted when I left. Gutted. Because their life...
I know who's the most gutted.
I know who's the most gutted.
Carol.
Carol knew all the uncles around. She went to all the different places. She loved the hawker centers. She loved the markets. Carol loved Singapore. They all, because of being there that long, my niece and nephews have memories. Their first memory of coming to Singapore, the 4 of them got on a plane alone without their parents and flew to Singapore by themselves. They were 9. 2 of them were 9 years old. One was like 11 and the other one was like 15. These 4 all arrived together.
So what? Kevin,
Kwe, Matthew, and Okidi. They landed, the 4 of them. Woo! I lost 5 kilos, I believe, in 2 weeks. Why? They were there because I love them to death, but I had planned an itinerary from duck tour to Little India, to Chinatown, to Arab Street, to everything. What's the Sentosa? Everything that I could. I had planned this thing. But being the aunt that was there, and they knew I could spoil them terribly, they wanted to eat everything that we could. So we had frog legs. But the thing is...
Not bad.
I've
never even had frog legs.
You never had
Not that I would.
You never had frog legs. The problem was they wanted to experiment with everything. But they would eat... I would order all this food, and then they don't like it. And then all they wanted was KFC and McDonald's. So I had all this meal that I've got frog legs, everything. And then they'd be like, we don't like it. Learning how to eat with chopsticks. I forced them to eat with chopsticks. And then they were playing with them. It was a mess. And then they didn't like the food. And then all they wanted to do was KFC, or McDonald's, which I should have known by then. That's what kids love to eat. But anyway, so they had and then they literally grew up in those years. coming to Singapore every other year. So one or two of them would come, or one or two. By the time their mothers came, to visit, they knew
They were more experienced.
They were more experienced. And then they would tell them, no, we're getting on the MRT. And she's like, wait, you can't go on the MRT alone. But I have to tell the story. I have to tell this. So
who said you cannot go to MRT?
So let me tell you about
Ruth
the
or
MRT
Carol?
experience. So we get on the MRT, and Ruth, my sister, said, because in Kenya we don't have MRT system, of course. So this was first time that they're getting on the MRT.
Yeah.
They said, hey, these doors, the doors close automatically. They say, so what happens if you don't want the door? Like, how do you stop the door from closing, right? So I said, you can't stop it. You're in or out. Like, you just got to be focused, you guys, right? Yeah. So they said, oh, okay. But then what happens if we're like somebody, like the door closes and somebody's on the outside? So literally we had this conversation, and Matthew, my nephew, is quite looking around, excited about things, not focused. We all get on the MRT and the doors close. And she's like, don't stop the doors from closing. But how do you close the doors? The doors close automatically. Yeah. So we all stand there in the MRT as Matthew's on the platform looking at us. He's 9 or 10 or something, and he's like, and it goes, right? Yeah. Total stress and panic. My sister is like so panicking. She's like, my son, what do we do? So what do we do? We get to, it was like Bugis and something. Yeah. There's one next to it. I don't know. I can't remember.
Lavender?
Lavender. Lavender.
Hello? I remember.
Lavender. Yeah. So it's between Lavender and Bugis. We get off. We leave him. We've left him at Bugis. So what do? We have to run down or get to the other one. Yeah. Get to the other one. Yeah. But she's crying. I'm not crying because I know it's Singapore and everything is fine and no one is going to attack your child. Yeah. And you're going to be fine. But she's crying. She's so upset. She's like, this stupid systems. I'm like, stupid systems. They are great. Like, no.
I'm sure she regrets
anyway,
it. Now she's here.
Now she's right. We'll never forget this. So we go and we find him just sitting on a bench, quietly waiting.
Which is very Matthew, though.
Very Matthew. Very Matthew. So focused and everything. Sensible. So sensible. We know that he's not going anywhere. Yeah. So we had like some of those exciting moments in Singapore. So when did the question is about home. Yeah. It felt like home then when people missed me, when I missed them, when I'm making more friends in Singapore than at home. And also my family, like they visited, they always came. So they loved it, and because they loved it, I loved it, So anyway.
So then would you say like Singapore was an easy place to
settle?
Integrate, settle. Just like, like looking back to UK, South Africa, and now New Zealand. Like,
it was so socially it was okay. Where was it easy to settle in? I can tell you everything that is related to efficiency. Beautiful in Singapore, right? Yeah. You take it from, setting up, finding a place to live, transport system, knowing where to shop, what to eat, what to buy. I didn't have any problems with that. That part, and so it makes being a professional, because the reason I was there was to work, right? Yeah. Fundamentally, it wasn't to enjoy, really, not to enjoy life as such. It's really to work, right? So I knew that. And so a big part of my life was my work. And as long as the place really suited the work environment, given that my work was traveling, because it was a travel job, and Singapore as a hub for traveling is perfect, right? Easy. So it made it very, very simple from that point of view. And therefore easy to integrate my work in professionally like that. And there are so many other expats as well, so they've all been through it. And my a lot of my work being HR was to help other people to settle, so I knew that this was really great like that, right? So but from a social point of view, it was harder. South Africa was probably one of the
Easiest.
easiest countries for me to integrate socially
Okay.
with people, because South Africans, from my experience, are some of the friendliest, warm, inviting people ever. Like, even before I arrived in the country, I had been invited to braais or barbecues. I'd been invited to people's homes even before I landed. So it's always a country that I say.
Okay.
UK was difficult personally to integrate.
Okay.
Because the Brits are
A bit hard.
hard. Once you're in, it's okay, but hard. So, is it easy to integrate into? I think if you say in the expat circles, I'd say yes. In the local circle, it takes a bit more time and effort and intention. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But eventually, when you do,
Once you're in.
once you're in, it's it's easier.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
I guess I think I can, reflecting back, I think what you mean is that because Singapore is like its systems are well built and efficient and everything, and therefore somewhat predictable. It means you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Because it runs like clockwork.
Totally.
Right? Then you can just focus on the
What
your
you
thing,
yeah.
what you need to
'Cause focus
this
on.
one just
Yeah.
keeps running
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah. So I guess that's one thing I'm pretty sure most of the diaspora
would
appreciate.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to share with you one of my most special moments in Singapore.
Okay.
So I have a journal that I journal. I tend to do journaling a lot, right? So I wrote a poem.
Yeah.
And this poem is linked to a particular part of the day in Singapore.
Okay.
That people would always go like, why would you see this in Singapore and not anywhere else? And that's because there's a very special window. It probably is the same window if you're on the same, because Singapore is on the 2
Equator.
degrees on the equator.
Yeah.
And Kenya is also on the equator, right? So it may be that Nairobi capital has a similar timing, but I particularly found this timing to be so special. So the sun sets between 5 to 7 and 7:10. So it's a short dusk period.
Yeah.
But it is the most, if you get a good day in Singapore, I guess similar, but in a good day, most of the days, because the weather doesn't change that much.
Yes.
But that's one of the things we can talk about that I don't like. The weather doesn't change that much. Is that the sun goes down at 7:10. So I wrote this poem. This is like one of the favorite parts of the day in Singapore, which is 7:10. So it goes like this: 7:10, pink, gorgeous cotton balls, streaks of gold across the sky. Dusk, the most beautiful time at night. Nature comes out to play. It's like all creation explodes in the day. God plays his orchestra with colors that are new and fresh, and I feel so very blessed. 7:10, no words can fully describe my sense of peace, closeness, and vibe. The zen, fulfillment, love, unique attention, like the artist has chosen this just for me, a secret mention. 7:10, I'll never be able to capture it, but I know that till this earth ends and I am transported to my final home, 7:10 will continue to make me feel never alone. Every time I walked at this time in the evening, because I did a lot of walking in Singapore because it's safe, right? I have pictures on my Facebook and Instagram that I would take of the sunset and this golden look, and how it was just so beautiful. Made me feel so close to God, but also would be just my time, my me time. You know how it is, like you've had a day, but then again in Singapore I would have 2 shifts. It was like I had a day and then I always had work calls in the evening, always. Like without a doubt, I was on there was a social life and then there was like your work life, right? So not just me, like so many people who are like working in regional roles always had calls in the evening like me. So this was kind of that period was just that me time, the quiet time that I loved Singapore for, which was it's amazing.
And I guess like you say, right, it's always at the same time.
Yeah,
like it's
always.
Like, it speaks to the. I mean, obviously, it's a coincidence. Like we are on the equator, and therefore, the sun set and rise at the same time. But I guess it also is how the system is.
Yeah.
Things are always
so
happen.
consistent.
Yeah, consistent.
It's quite predictable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the other thing that I wanted to say about what Singapore gave me that other countries could not give me, and I'm so grateful for this, is the predictability and the ability for me to plan for things to come in my future life, because it was predictable, secure, both from a financial point of view, from at that point in time a job point of view. I could plan. So I could be very planful about what I wanted to do, when I wanted to do it, how I wanted to do it. So in a way it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Yeah. The predictability can lead to boredom. The predictability can lead to just sometimes a sense of, oh my gosh, this is just...
It would be
like
what
so predictable.
I guess it would be what that would set off Singaporeans in a sense, like I mean, why some of us left Singapore is because we think, is life all about this.
Exactly. Yeah.
But as you have raised, what we took for granted was that is the predictability that allows us to because when something is like always there for you, you you don't think about it.
You take it for granted.
You take it for granted. Yeah. And actually if you think about it, because certain aspects of our life are so clockwork, that gives us space to focus on certain things.
That are important.
Can you imagine if like everything in your life is like a mess?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's about routine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we are creatures of habit.
Well. We are.
Yeah.
And if you think about it from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It provides the base of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is all your hygiene factors are taken care of, be it by the job that I was doing. But for Singaporeans, it's the government generally takes care of a lot of things, which then allow you to reach that point of building yourself and what you want to do and actualizing some of your desires, and you can actually move and focus to that, right? Whereas if you are constantly struggling, and I know that, from like a Kenyan perspective, a South Africa perspective, the struggle is real. The struggle for the hygiene factors is real. So all the time you are waiting for like things to go wrong, because they will go wrong and they go wrong, and so it's like life is hard, whereas in Singapore it can get comfortable and easy, and it's weird. I don't mean easy, because I think that people work really, really hard to keep a certain standard. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. It's to keep that standard, you need to work hard. You need to constantly be
After 13 years in Singapore, you left. So first of all, why did you leave, and why New Zealand?
Okay, so interestingly, I wanted to leave earlier than the 13 years. I wanted to leave earlier than the 13 years. We had a love-hate relationship with Singapore, in the sense that, not badly, I applied for PR twice and was rejected twice. And no one takes rejection well.
I apologize on behalf of the administration.
No, it's all good. I don't take it badly at all. I did think that after I had done enough national days, my friends had invited me for national days and
So that kind of reminds me of the question.
Singapura.
What is it about a person that makes them a Singaporean? Is it, like you say, is it attending NDP every year? Is it being able to sing the national anthem?
Not that easy to attend NDP, as I discovered, right?
Yeah. Ballot. You have to ballot for it.
Yeah.
Is it being able to speak Singlish? Is it living in the heartlands?
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it having a pink IC? Is it having a passport? Is it what? Like how Singaporean are you?
What makes one anything though in any country, right? What makes them? We have this conversation a lot in our family because it's such a hot pot of mixed cultures, right? Singapore, but there is I definitely think that Singaporeans have a particular personality. That Singapore has a particular personality, right?
What is it?
I'm just going to throw it out there. Because for those of you who understand the MBTI, right? In the Myers-Briggs type indicator, personality. So I think Singapore has an INTJ personality, right?
Oh, that's almost me.
So
it's
an I. It's that you are you an INTJ?
I'm an INFJ.
Are you an INFJ? So your F might be at sometimes you get some cognitive dissonance with Singapore because the feeling part of Singapore is not. This may be your Malaysian side.
Might be my Malay
It's
side.
your Malay side that's kicking in. The
Yeah.
F is kicking in. Yeah. Because if I was to profile it, I would say as a country, it's got that personality, which is an INTJ, which means that if you generally fit into your kind of typical introvert, intuitive and thinking and very structured, the J for the judging, very structured kind of person, you probably fit well into Singapore. So because that's generally how the country works. It's not allowed. Would you say it's a loud country? Totally not. It's not allowed. Most Singaporeans are generally quite soft spoken. I'm really generalizing here, but I feel like I can do that. Generally quite soft spoken. They're fairly polite in their views and even taking into account all the different cultures. You won't have people jumping up and down about a drama. If people want to say something, they'll be really quite politically correct about how they say it, when they say it. Social media has changed that a little bit because people can go into the space and do that. It's visionary. Maybe that's because of Lee Kuan Yew's kind of legacy of being visionary. And then there is it's very, very thoughtful and analytical and data driven. Everything, even the creativity and the innovations that are there are coming from a very scientific approach, right? It's not like
there's
thought put in it, and then it's very structured, right? So it's very structured. So that's how I would profile. Now, what does a Singaporean look like? Would probably fit a lot, and so people who don't maybe fit that profile may find themselves at times being like, whoa, this is quite tricky, quite hard, right?
Well, be careful, all EN.
All your
TP people.
all your ENFPs. Yes.
Watch out.
Which, by the way,
is you. What the heck? Yeah. Well,
it's like, how did you fit in? But the reason why I profiled it was in order to understand why at times do I feel like it's it's tricky, but I have a flexibility in me that I'm like, I will, because of my
Are you a water sign?
Maybe because of my people pleasing side, I'm like, I'm gonna fit in whether you like me to fit in or not, and so I'll adjust to the culture.
Actually, you don't come across to me as someone who's people pleasing though.
Yeah, I am. I'm developing that area so that I'm not so much like people pleasing or trying not, but it's there.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see you as someone like that at all.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, this is your Johari window.
Yeah, I know. It's like
Your hidden.
oh, my
hidden,
the hidden.
thing.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
So, are you Singaporean because you speak the language, or you attend National Day parades or whatever? No, I think there is a fit though. There is a cultural expectation almost. That is there, and there's not, given that it's a small population, there's almost not much room. Small population in a small space means that you are really needing to keep to the rules. You need to keep to the rules. So the reason why I decided to leave actually was more linked to my career. My career and probably COVID. The two C's that hit me at the same time.
Okay.
So what happened was, after the 13 years, I decided to take a career break.
Yeah.
But I hadn't decided when I took the career break what I was going to do.
Okay.
Whether I was going to stay on in Singapore since I'd been there for so long, whether I wanted to go back to Kenya, or whether I wanted to come to New Zealand. So 2019, So 2019, I decided I'm going to take a career break. And so when I decided to take the career break, I was going to travel the world, do things that you do on a career break, and then make a decision what I want to do.
Yeah.
But then, because COVID hit the next year, none of my plans worked out.
Okay.
And so I found myself a little bit stuck in Singapore because I didn't have a job. I had quit my job to take a career break. So I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
And I was on, just a 6-month period where you could be in the country for that period of time before I then needed to apply back for a job. And then then I took some time out, and in that period of time, because it was a COVID period, and I really wasn't doing anything. I was in Singapore. It was quite a insightful period, because I'd never stayed in the country when I'm not working. Remember, I'd always been working, and so I'd never really had the experience of just being at home and not doing anything. And so I had this experience of just being in the house.
And you are ENTP.
And I know. Yeah, I am an ENFP.
Oh, FP, sorry.
Yeah. Not even the N, I think I'm an S. ESFP.
Yes.
So imagine I'm alone at home in the house during COVID, and we couldn't even get out of the house.
Yeah.
I didn't even have like a bubble partner or whatever like that. So I was going mad, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy. So I would chat to my neighbors through the fence, and all of those good things that happened during COVID, which was necessary. And then I had to think, and I had to make a decision. So my decision at the time was, okay, I'm not. It was really driven a lot by that period of time. It was that I'm not enjoying Singapore anymore. I had kind of in my spirit felt that it's soon that I will have to leave the country. I knew that maybe a couple of years before, but I hadn't quite made the decision. I also had a dog, remember? And so for many years, I couldn't go anywhere because of the dog. But then my dog had died. Okay. And so then I had the freedom to go anywhere that I want. It's interesting, but pets keep you in a place, So then I was like, now I can go anywhere. In fact, it could have been anywhere, but I felt very led, both in my spirit and that I need to come to New Zealand. Okay. And so that was the reason why, and I could, because I had the citizenship. I had to leave Singapore because they didn't have any permanent status there. And so it was kind of like, you have to leave. Correct. And so I left. Okay. And then I came to New Zealand because I could. And also, I thought, if I'm going to retire at some point between Kenya and New Zealand, I need to start making friends and a network here and build a life in New Zealand as well while I'm still young-ish, sort of young. So yeah, that's why I came to New Zealand.
Okay. So you went from like, I guess from a work perspective, like employed regional, role, and now you're here with your own thing, Kiwa HR, which evidently is named after your parents.
Yes. And not a Maori.
You are obviously like, in the current work that you do, you are in a way tethered to like all the past connections, countries that you stay in, like you said, South Africa, Singapore. You've been like, I guess, the local in Kenya, you've been an expat in UK, in South Africa, in Singapore. So my question is, where do you think we should probably have alluded to earlier, like, where do you belong? Where is home for you?
This answer is not a cop-out answer, okay? What I'm going to say.
Sure. Thanks for the
I no
caveat.
longer, the caveat.
Yeah.
I no longer try and answer this question about where do I consider home. I can't try and answer that question because it just stresses me to feel like I need to fit into any one particular country, any one particular culture, anyone. Why? I can't. I've had too much exposure to too many different countries and places, and when I try and connect to a home place, right? I find myself getting frustrated almost, right? Like I'm pigeonholing, am I going to Kenya and therefore I'm Kenyan? I'm in Singapore and I'm Singaporean or more. I'm in New Zealand and therefore I'm Kiwi. I'm in South Africa and then I'm South African. Because if I try and be all to everyone, then I find myself being no one. So now what I do is I appreciate I appreciate all the wonderful things of the home places that I go to. So I had not been back to Kenya for 5 years since I arrived in New Zealand. I went back to Kenya this year. And when I went back, I was, first of all, the country has changed fundamentally. Like, it's crazy with all the new highways and byways and the infrastructure and the development is out of this world. Like, it's changed. It's no longer like what I would have seen as home before. Now I'm a stranger to when I go. But then being there, I remembered and realized, there's the things that I really love about Kenya were just the memories I've shared with friends, the friendships that I have are memories that I have, but I'm making new memories now that I'm older. The things in the culture where everyone is so authentic, genuine, generous, and real, and I love that. And then there are other things culturally that annoy me still, corruption that's still there, blah, 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 all of those things. But it's still home in a way. I can pass my primary school and it's still there. I meet my ex-primary school teacher in a supermarket and now she's like 80 or something like that. And I'm like, they're still there, right? So that's still there. And then if I go back to Singapore, I've still got very good Singaporean friends and I've got Singaporean friends coming to New Zealand. And I can go and I land in Singapore. I feel like it's home, right? So I can't say that there is like a one home. There isn't. And I stopped trying to answer that question in my head. Or when people ask it to me, I'm like, nowhere. None of them are home. It's not. None of them are home. Could I go back and live in different places? Actually, the answer still could be yes. If there's a right reason and a right opportunity and a right whatever, I can. I'm still quite adaptable like that. Like, So that's to answer that question.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering it anyway, despite not wanting to answer it. So let's take this, this moment as the last time someone asks Gath that question. And I mean, and to that, like, this has been such, not that this is our first time talking extensively about any topic.
All these things.
So it's just that, it just reminds me of why, like you are, because my only black African, let's not count your sisters. They are by proxy, right? But as in you are the only one that I think I've like formed a connection, able to, really talk about almost anything and everything. And we don't meet each other very often either. But
I know we need to.
Yeah, but when we meet, it's like there's still so much to talk about. Yeah. So thank you, Gath.
Thank you, Adlena.
My honorary Singaporean Kenyan Kiwi guests.
Thank you for the questions. It's so helpful for me as well to reflect and think on. And every time I walk away with the richness of, those are good questions. I've got to think about those.
It can only come from a Singaporean.
Only. So tired.
What are you up to?
Are we still filming?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh.
You will edit it out. What's up?
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh,
Thank you. My hand is dirty.
Fine, I'm gonna wash it.
Oh.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
Good, you? Haven't seen you
I
in
know.
ages.
We haven't.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Ages and ages, and it's
Yeah.
growing taller and taller and taller.
I know.
Oh.
And yes, we took off the price tag.
It's crazy.
So you don't know how much it is.